I never thought I'd lose my entire family in a single night. But that's exactly what happened the evening I walked into the police station and told them the truth about my brother. I was 19. My brother, Marcus, was 23. Growing up, he was the golden child. Perfect grades, star athlete, my parents' pride. I looked up to him. Everyone did. Our house was the one where all the cousins gathered for holidays, summer barbecues, birthday parties. It was loud, it was chaotic, and I genuinely believed it was love. But behind closed doors, my brother was not who they thought he was. I still remember the exact moment everything shattered. Christmas Eve. The whole family crammed into my aunt's living room, wrapping paper everywhere. I went upstairs to grab my phone charger from my cousin Lily's room. She was 8. When I pushed open the door, I saw my brother kneeling next to her bed. His hand was over her mouth. Her eyes were wide, frozen in a terror I couldn't process. I didn't scream. I couldn't. My brain just stopped. Marcus looked up at me, calm as ever, and said she had a nightmare. I'm helping her. But I saw her little body trembling. I saw the way she flinched when he touched her arm. Something inside me broke that second, and something else, something harder, clicked into place. That night, after everyone left, I confronted him in the driveway. Snow was falling. He didn't even deny it. He simply smiled and said, "Who do you think they'll believe? The perfect son or the dramatic little sister?" I stood there in the freezing cold, watching him walk back into our warm house, and I made a choice that would cost me everything. 3 days later, I walked into the police station and gave my statement. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely hold the pen. But I told them everything I saw. I told them about the other times I'd noticed him getting too close to the younger kids, the way he always volunteered to babysit, the locked doors during family gatherings. I thought I was protecting my family. I thought they would thank me. I didn't see what was coming next. When I got home, my parents were already waiting in the living room. My mother's face was twisted with fury, a look I'd never seen before. "How dare you," she spat, her voice shaking. "Do you have any idea what you've done to this family?" She didn't ask if it was true. She didn't ask about Lily. She only cared about the family name, the reputation, the shame. My father wouldn't even look at me. He stood by the window, his back turned, and when he finally spoke, his voice was low and cold, like I'd never heard it. "No child of mine would ever do this. You're dead to us. Understand?" Those words lodged themselves in my chest like shrapnel. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't speak. They kicked me out that night. I was 19 years old, standing on the front porch with a duffel bag and the clothes on my back. My phone started exploding with messages, aunts, uncles, cousins, all calling me a liar, a traitor, a monster for trying to destroy Marcus. The family group chat, once full of happy photos and inside jokes, turned into a digital firing squad. My grandmother called me a disgrace. My own older sister blocked my number before I could even explain. I stood completely alone. And for a long time, that aloneness felt permanent. The police did launch an investigation. But Lily's parents refused to let her talk to anyone. They said I was making it up for attention, that I was jealous of Marcus. Without a victim statement, the case stalled. Marcus walked free without a single charge. A few weeks later, I saw photos on social media. My parents had thrown a "We believe you" party for him. There was a cake with those exact words written in blue icing. I didn't sleep for a week after that. For 5 years, I lived in a tiny studio apartment on the other side of the city. I worked 2 jobs, waitressing during the day, cleaning offices at night. I cried myself to sleep more times than I can count. I replayed my mother's voice in my head, "You're tearing this family apart." I questioned my own memory, my own sanity. But deep down, beneath all the pain and isolation, I never regretted what I did. Not once. Then, one ordinary Tuesday, my phone rang. It was a detective I hadn't spoken to in years. His voice was urgent. "We need you to come in. There's been a development." I didn't see this coming. When I arrived at the station, there were 4 people in the conference room. All of them were my cousins. All of them were now adults, barely. And one by one, they told me they had the same story. The same locked doors. The same whispered threats. The same Marcus. Lily was the first to speak publicly. She was 13 now, and she'd finally told her parents the full truth, and this time, they listened. Then Emma came forward, then Olivia, then 2 younger boys I'd only seen at reunions. Within 3 months, 7 victims stepped forward. 7. All from within our own family. All with detailed accounts stretching back over a decade. My brother hadn't just targeted one child. He'd been hunting inside our family like it was his personal preserve. The truth was worse than I ever imagined. I thought I was the only one brave enough to speak. But I was just the first. The first to be exiled. The first to be erased. The trial date came faster than I ever expected. Heavy it felt like a physical weight on my chest. And then, just as the judge opened her mouth to speak, my brother turned his head slow, deliberate, and locked eyes with me. His lips curled into something between a smile and a snarl. He leaned toward me from the defense table and whispered, loud enough for those in the first rows to hear, a sentence that made the air vanish from the room. "You think you've won, little sister? You have no idea who else was involved." The room went completely still. My parents froze. My mother's tissue slipped from her hand and floated to the floor. I felt my heart stop. Because the way he said it, so calm, so certain, told me the truth was far darker than I had ever imagined. And in that frozen second, I realized my brother wasn't the only one who was about to face justice. What came next destroyed my entire family, and this time, I didn't just watch it happen. I made sure of it. The air vanished from the room. My brother's whisper hung in the silence like a blade suspended mid-swing. The judge's head snapped up. "What did you just say?" Marcus's confident mask cracked for the first time. He clearly hadn't intended for the entire courtroom to hear. But I was sitting close enough, and the 2 jurors in the front row had gone completely pale. The prosecutor was already rising to his feet. My mother looked like a statue made of ice. My father's concrete jaw finally went slack. The judge banged her gavel, calling for order, then ordered the courtroom cleared. As the bailiffs led the jury out, I watched my brother's composure drain away. "You have no idea who else was involved." The words looped in my head, and suddenly 5 years of isolation, 5 years of being called a liar and a traitor, snapped into sharp, horrifying focus. They knew. The bailiff touched my arm, guiding me toward the hallway, but my mind was already racing through every memory I'd buried. The hushed phone calls my mother took in the laundry room. The way my father had told me, "You're dead to us," with zero hesitation, zero questions. Not because he didn't believe me, because he already knew exactly what Marcus was, and he had chosen to protect him anyway. But what happened next changed everything. A detective I'd never seen before intercepted me in the marble hallway. She was tall, sharp-eyed, and she didn't waste a second. "Your brother just opened a door," she said quietly. "And we're walking through it." "How well do you remember conversations in that house? Anything your parents said about other incidents, other children, anything they might have buried?" I closed my eyes. And then it came flooding back. 3 years before the Christmas Eve that broke me, I had overheard my mother on the phone with my aunt, her voice low and urgent. "Just keep her quiet. This cannot get out. Marcus is a good boy. You know how girls his age can exaggerate." At the time, I'd assumed it was about some high school drama. But now, with 7 victims standing behind me, I understood. My aunt had called my mother about Lily, and my mother had silenced her. I told the detective everything. I gave them dates, names, scraps of memory I'd locked away because they were too painful to examine. Within 24 hours, the prosecutor filed an emergency motion. Within 48, my parents' phones were seized. Within 72, the hidden truth began crawling out of the woodwork. And it was worse than I imagined. Forensic examiners recovered deleted text messages between my mother and my aunt stretching back almost a decade. Messages that said things like, "We handled it within the family, and no one outside needs to know, and think of his future." My father had paid for my brother's therapy, an unlicensed counselor 3 counties away who never asked questions and never kept records. They hadn't just ignored what Marcus was doing. They had actively, systematically covered it up. The warrants came on a Thursday morning. I watched from across the street as police vehicles filled my parents' pristine driveway. My mother was led out in handcuffs, her elegant silk blouse rumpled, her face twisted with a disbelief I savored more than I should have. My father followed, stone-faced, but pale as death. The neighbors filmed everything. By noon, it was on every local news channel. I didn't destroy them. I simply stopped protecting them. The trial expanded. My brother, already facing life-altering charges, now sat beside our parents. 2 defense tables. 3 defendants. 1 family. The public couldn't look away. Every day the gallery was packed, cameras, journalists, true crime forums exploding. My father's business partners fled. His company, built on decades of community trust, collapsed within 2 weeks. Vendors canceled contracts. Employees walked out. The family home, the one I'd been thrown out of in the snow, went into foreclosure. But the real reckoning happened inside those courtroom walls. I testified again, this time not just about Marcus, but about a culture of silence that had poisoned our entire bloodline. I laid out every red flag my parents ignored, every victim they intimidated, every lie they told to protect the monster they raised. When I stepped down, Lily squeezed my hand. Then Emma. Then the others. 7 survivors, plus me. 8 voices against a wall of denial that had stood for far too long. The turning point came when the prosecution played a voicemail my mother had left for my aunt, recovered from a backup cloud account. Her voice filled the courtroom, sickly sweet and utterly chilling. "We don't air dirty laundry. Marcus is the future of this family. You understand what's at stake." Just tell Lily she misunderstood. Children forget. A sob escaped from the gallery. It was my grandmother. The same grandmother who called me a disgrace. The same woman who had blocked me at every family gathering. She stared at my mother with an expression I'd never seen on her face, not anger, but recognition. Recognition that the daughter she'd defended had been complicit in the destruction of her own grandchildren. When the verdicts came, they came like a thunderclap. Marcus was convicted on 14 counts. He will die in prison. My mother was convicted of conspiracy, obstruction, and child endangerment. My father received the same. The judge's voice was steady as she handed down sentences that would span decades. My parents' faces crumpled, but I felt nothing. Absolutely nothing. I had already mourned them years ago. As the bailiffs cuffed them and led the 3 of them toward the side door, my brother turned his head one last time. But this time, he had no whisper, no smirk, no power. He was just a small, broken man in an orange jumpsuit, being swallowed by a system that would never release him. I stepped out of the courthouse into blinding sunlight. My phone buzzed with messages from cousins I hadn't spoken to in years, apologies, thanks, desperate attempts to reconnect. I would decide later which ones deserved a response. For now, I just breathed. The family I once loved had tried to erase me. Instead, I became the only one left standing. And when the dust finally settled, there was nothing of their old world left. They didn't just lose me. They lost everything.